So, women were the ones who introduced this idea to men that we can just have casual sex and we don't have to stay together. There's no commitment, there's no investment in time and feelings, and everyone is just going to move on. Women brought up this idea and started pushing this idea towards men aggressively until men really tapped into it and said, you know what, this is actually a great deal for me as well. I don't need to spend time with her, especially if this is not even the girl you're planning to commit with. You might think she's attractive looks wise, but you're just attracted to her sexually and that's it. And now men are like, fine, I'm down. I don't have to do too much to impress this girl because she's on her empowerment movement, trying to prove to herself how strong and independent she is by being able to sleep with different men. So women have welcomed this idea. Women push this idea. Women celebrate this idea. But at the same time, women are the ones now crying and complaining. I've been hearing a lot of women, seeing a lot of women. I think the internet is full of them, especially platforms like TikTok and Instagram, also YouTube, where women are now suddenly looking back to the choices they've made. They're not necessarily being accountable of the choices they made. They're instead blaming it on men. Now, men are the bad guys. Men are the ones who are using women for their bodies, using them and dumping them, not being respectful. Men are trash, as they like to say. Men are not ish, and all those other negative things that they would say about men, while women were the ones who started this movement, who introduced the hookup culture, who made this normal for men to be able to sleep with you without giving you commitment. So guys, hello and welcome to the Talk Podcast. I am your host Aisha Vivian, and I am continuing on this season of the hookup culture. Today should be episode number 4, and I really want to talk about this downside of the hookup culture. I think I have been talking a lot about the negative effects that the hookup culture brings, but today I want to explain more that women are kind of confused in what they really want. So they bought into this idea of how empowering the hookup culture is. They all bought into, not all but most, a lot of women bought into this idea that has been sold to them by feminism, by the sexual revolution, that is not a bad thing for you to be hyper promiscuous. You can sleep around, you can show off your body, do you, girl. You're strong, you're independent, no one can tell you anything. You can act the way men act without facing any consequences, without being hurt emotionally. Women have been told that they don't have needs. They don't have any emotional needs. They don't want to be with someone who's going to kind of love them, who's going to care for them. They have been telling themselves these lies for years now, for decades, and it is affecting a lot of women. It is affecting young women especially. A lot of them have not even really understand what the problem is, because they're still trying to like cover up with, oh yeah, I'm such a boss chick. But it is affecting young women, young girls, and it's affecting even the older women who have been buying into this for years, for decades now, and now suddenly and slowly realizing that this is not what they really want. But instead of being accountable for the choices that they have made, it's rather easier to blame it on the opposite sex. It's easier to blame it and point the fingers towards men. I'm sorry. So women were the ones who introduced the hookup culture to men. There was a time where men had to really be a gentleman towards you, take care of you, take you out, get to know you, get to know your family, really kind of prove themselves, assure you that they're going to be with you, be committed to you. You need to go, they had to step into a relationship first before they could have relations with you. So that idea, that's actually the better idea, has been totally broken by the hookup culture, which is the complete opposite, where women are telling men, I don't need you, I don't care about you, I don't need your feelings, I don't need your guidance, I'm not looking for a man, I'm not looking for a long-term relationship, I just want casual fun. And they hook up with these men, one guy here, another guy there, the third one, fifth and sixth, the fourth, fifth and sixth. The list goes on. Like, there's some girls, some women who have been around, have slept with 50 men, 70, 100. There are numbers that really shocked me, where I heard a girl talking about she has been with 300 men and she's not even 30. That's crazy. How? I'm sorry, but how is that even possible? However, in whatever numbers these women are, by not being in a committed relationship and just choosing to hook up and sleep around, at some point they start feeling that something is missing, right? They meet the next guy and the next guy is just like, oh yeah, sure, let's do it. Sometimes it's gonna be like super ratchet. They don't even care to take you out and make it a bit romantic. Like, you're lucky if you get a Netflix and chill. Women have sold themselves so cheap that they're just gonna give up their bodies, and men love it. Men are like, yeah, we are winning. I mean, women think that they're hurting the men by doing this, but you're not hurting the men, because men want to have sex. So if you believe this is going to make it harder for men, this is like a hard game for them, no, this is an easy game for them. They're like, great idea, girl. If you want to do this, let's do it. If you want to start selling yourself for cheap, I want this anyways, let's go. You hear stories of girls hooking up around the bushes in the car. Like, these men don't care anymore. And however, they realize, okay, the next guy, he doesn't even care for me. He's not even trying to call me up the next day. He doesn't even want to know how I feel or how I thought about the night was. Like, they just really go. They just dump you in that sense, right? And women are kind of stuck in the situation because they cannot admit that this is their fault, that they put themselves into the situation. So they start blaming it on how bad men are, and men just use you for your body. But they're not using you for your body. They're not like the bad guy. You offered them to use you for your body. The only thing you presented and you gave them was, hey, I'm just here to give you my body. So why are the men suddenly the bad guys? To me, it doesn't make sense.